funny that you say that about they're afraid to be seen, because I've done some research, and the thing that I hear about women in business is that the biggest challenge they face is that they're not being seen. So it's this interesting like tug of war that they're not being seen, but they want to be seen. So that
they want to be seen in the light that they want to be seen.
Okay,
in.
good point. Yeah,
I think that is really, you know, you have to show up as who you are.
Right.
And I have personal experience with this, because when I left the workplace in the early 80s, and what I like to tell people is there's two feminists, and I'm going out on a limb here. I'm letting the freak flag fly right now, but I feel like there's been two feminism movements in the 80s, that late 70s and 80s, which I lived through.
Sure.
Women were coming into the workplace, and they were taking over, and they were, you know, taking names and, you know, really doing it.
Because they had to.
Well, because they could, but what did they do? They took on the masculine energy.
Yeah.
So everybody went out and got their suit. Everybody was all gussied up like a man. We all had, remember the big shoulder pads?
Yeah. If I never wear a pantsuit again, it would be too soon.
So I feel like, and then suddenly the women who were working were better than the women who were the stay-at-home moms.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I feel that energy sometimes too. And I don't believe it, but I do feel like people think that for whatever reason.
Oh, you're staying home with your children? Are you stupid?
Yeah.
You know, or, oh, you're going to get a job that you don't love your children?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Yeah.
Yes, and there's two different camps. What I feel like is coming up, and I think that the Millennial Generation has a lot to do with it, is like, the man can stay home, the woman can stay home, that, you know, we can choose to have two incomes, or we can choose not to have two incomes. Right. It's all so very personal, and that's okay. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'll respect what you want to do, but I'll also do what I want to do. Right. And it's not the same thing. And please don't be offended that I'm not choosing your way of life.
Right. So you were on the talk about two different types of feminists. So we've got the 80s with the shoulder pads.
Yes. And, So this is
working girl Melanie Griffith.
So I feel like this is the true feminist movement of let me be there for you. I always have this vision, and again, just let my freak flag fly. I have a vision of the Western woman linking arms and changing the world, and really making a difference. Because let's face it, ladies.
Goosebumps, by the way. Yeah, I love that.
Well, you know, if I can quote the Dalai Lama, the Western woman will save the world.
Interesting.
From the Dalai Lama himself.
Okay.
So that's something that drives me, and a lot of people get goosebumps when I talk about that, because the way that I see it is I watched all the ladies when I was at home, and they were making it happen. And it was multitasking and going and doing and being and seeing and doing all these things for their communities. What if we just did that and made it into businesses?
Yeah.
But we were still all cooperating and collaborating and working together, instead of worried about, why did she wear a dress to this? Why did she wear heels to this? Why is her hair a mess? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know? Unless you're hurting someone else. That's why I've come to, it's like, do whatever you want to do, just don't hurt other people.
Yeah.
Be kind to others.
Yeah, I like that. So talk a little bit about the let your freak flag fly, because I can't even say it, by the way.
I've gotten better at it.
Yeah. It's a tongue twister. But I love that message, and I love that you're so bold about it. And I did take your quote and put it on social media, and I had some people send me a message, well, I'd like to like that, but I don't think that my work would like that. Yeah. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'd hate to be in that prison.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, worrying about my company, what I'm liking on social media. But
yeah, well, I see it as something super positive. It basically says be yourself.
Yeah.
Be who you are, and let everybody know about it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's your value. That's your superpower.
That's your value. That's your superpower. When I was growing up, no one would have ever put a pride flag out in the 70s and 80s.
Sure.
Because of what the community would think. But now it's like, and I'm not calling that a freak flag in any way, but everybody has a flag. Everybody has a way that they want to live their life.
Themselves.
Yes, to celebrate themselves.
Yes,
absolutely. And if you're not willing to be an advocate for yourself, who will be?
Right.
And who will even know? I mean, what Wesos has taught me more than anything is that many times I had that voice in the back of my head that's like, who do you think you are? Telling all these women that they have to get along and they can't sell to each other. And it was just that negative self-talk.
Sure.
That, and then finally,
Imposter. Yeah.
and finally I just said, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's my group, and these are my rules, and if you want to be part of it, and look at all the women that it resonates with.
Yeah.
That's
There was
what's so
clearly a
incredible.
gap
Yes,
and a need for it in the market.
I agree.
Yeah. So
So the next feminist movement,
Yeah.
next feminist movement is truly, I don't like to say empowering women, because a lot of people say, well, I empower women. No, you don't. You can't empower women. You can give women the tools that they can use to empower themselves. But I can't say, Karen, you're empowered.
Right. Yeah. If only it were that easy.
If
Yeah.
only it were that easy, is exactly right.
So do you consider yourself a feminist?
I do consider myself a feminist. But again, I'm going to go back to a true feminist.
Yeah.
Because I will listen to, I might think you're batshit crazy, but I'll listen to what your ideas are and what you're thinking, but it doesn't mean that it's going to change my mind, or maybe it will change my mind.
Sure. But you're open.
But you'll never know if someone can change your mind unless you're willing to listen to them.